if you want to be a YouTuber that shows 20 different countries, because we're going to 20 different countries, then we need something to actually tell about the country.
What?
We have to learn about the country and then tell the persons, like, oh, in this country you have to eat this food, that food, any food. Yes, you can tell facts about the monkey, but
What if you're standing there with the monkey, being like, this is a chubby monkey?
no, I would recommend you don't say chubby because that would just be weird and everyone would just leave the YouTube channel.
Hi, we're Ruth and Brian from Roaming to Own. You might have watched our first video, which was just a quick introductory hold the space. We are a family of 4, sometimes 5, travelling the world to save for a house, and the first part is to pay off debt.
This video is really just about our exiting New Zealand, and we're going to start giving a bit of an introduction to our finances. We're going to be completely open book about our finances.
Scarily open.
Yeah, because not because we want we're oversharers, but because we think that this video will keep us accountable in effect.
Yeah, so our intention is that we can hopefully save more living overseas in cheaper countries than we can living in New Zealand. We're going to detail that a little bit more later in the video.
We've spent probably 2 years planning for this. We've thought of different ways that we can look to save and kind of break the cycle that we've been in, and concluded that this would be the best way for us.
Living in a caravan prior to COVID, thank God that didn't happen.
We didn't do that. We took some inspiration from some other YouTubers. Growing Up Without Borders is one particular channel that we've watched religiously for the last few years.
Yeah, because they travel with their 3 girls?
3 girls,
3 girls,
and they have done for probably about 8 years now. Their goal is to see every country in the world.
Which is definitely not our goal.
Yeah, we don't plan to do that at all. We literally just want to go to fun, cheap countries that we'll be able to save lots of money in, hopefully. We've spent the last 2 years probably planning for this move, stressing, wondering whether it was the right decision, because we've made the decision that we'll get rid of all of our furniture, all of our possessions. We didn't own a lot of valuable stuff. Your baby? What's your baby?
My car.
Your car.
My other baby is our coffee machine, which is with my sister-in-law.
Yeah, but we didn't want to keep anything in storage, so we've effectively got rid of the lot. So that means that we're really committed to this trip. In the last year, we travelled around the country visiting distant friends and also catching up with some of our clients, because we anticipate that we'll be away for upwards of 2 years. So,
which in terms of our clients isn't actually a problem, because we do 99% of our work online, maybe 100 actually now. So it's actually not an issue if we're away from them, but we just felt like it would be good to have a face-to-face with some of them.
did some fun things. We had a Midwinter Christmas just to, because we're going to be
Christmas
away,
tree out.
the family that we normally spend Christmas with, we've both got quite large families. Be the first time that we've not spent any time with them at Christmas time, so yeah.
It was amazing the fact that of all the things that we didn't get rid of, well, you know, that we kept or have gone to different family, our Christmas tree was one of them. And it was kind of like, this is taking up space, but then when you look back through all our Google photos, it's got all our babies, and every year we've marked, like, I'm a bit of a psycho when it comes to putting out the Christmas tree. I want it filmed, and so it's actually something that is like quite precious. So one of my sister-in-laws again is holding on to it for us, because yeah, it's something that's meant something. So it was nice to do a quick video, but it started to annoy me being set up in October.
So we've started the process, or we started the process about 2 months ago of selling everything, our tables, chairs, cars, the whole lot,
Yeah.
in preparation for our exiting. We gave notice on the place that we were renting in Auckland for $830 New Zealand a week, which for us was quite a stretch. Obviously things didn't all go to plan. I think the week we were ready to list our car for sale, Ruth was picking the kids up from school and a learner driver smashed into the side of the car. Luckily didn't do any panel damage, but completely and utterly wrote off our wing mirror. So that was a bit of a delay getting that fixed, ready for it to be sold. We thought, because we love this car and we thought it would sell for $1 million. Sadly it didn't.
No.
Yeah.
But it was necessity. Like, we could either keep it at someone's place and try and sell it later on, and all of that just became like an expense that we weren't willing to pay, and just the hassle for our family and all of that stuff. So as sad as it was to see it go, it was really good that it did get sold. Like, literally, I think the day before we left Auckland to go to Wellington, that's when it got sold.
We've had students living with us for the last probably 5 years,
Yeah.
just to help meet our living expenses. Students from overseas, and so our last student, Canon, a beautiful Japanese girl that we've loved having with us, we had to say goodbye to just a little bit early. She would have normally stayed with us until December, I would think, but yeah, she literally had to, we had to find another home for her at the end of October. So, but we had spent lots of time with her while we were winding things down in Auckland.
Yeah.
And then there was the kids leaving school.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. I got on Matt. I was thinking about who was the hardest to say goodbye to, and it was actually the office manager, because you know, these kids were my first children, and so yeah, the whole thing, you know, from taking a 5-year-old to school and learning what you need to do, she was just always so sweet. So yeah, saying goodbye to her, so shout out to Cassandra, it was actually very hard. It was probably the most emotional, but it was really beautiful. Both the kids' classroom, their teachers, Riley's teacher did little cards for them, for all of her, like all the students did little cards, and then Harvey had a big card written, and yeah, it was actually really, really nice. And the kids have actually got their school uniform tops, because Brian has some vision of them wearing them in front of the pyramids, although Riley's a little fashionista, so I don't think she's going to have a bar of it.
I really want to, I want to send the school videos of the kids in all sorts of exotic locations around the world, just something fun for them to do.
So the nitty gritty of what we're going to do, we are going to, like we said, be quite transparent with our finances. That scares me a little bit, just because it's, you know, we're not, like Brian said, we're not doing it to be flashy or anything like that. We really want it to be a way for us to be held accountable for a goal that is friggin' ambitious, considering we have not been able to do it in our 14 years together. But we would love to own our own home. We'd love to be able to do it with less than a massive mortgage, you know, like actually get somewhere. Unfortunately, just before we left, or as life is, we got some provisional tax, which is what you pay for the next year, and that was a lot. So our goal to reduce debt and start saving really quickly has been stretched out, you reckon, by about 8 months. So
yeah, it could be a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video when we do the finances. So once the kids had left school and we'd said goodbye to Cannon, it was really just a case of doing the final clean-up of the rental property. I'm always a little bit anal when it comes to that type of stuff. I like to make a pretty good job of it. Unfortunately, we had some very good friends of ours, some Spanish families that I've done a lot of work with over the last few years, that came and did an amazing clean-up job for us. So it ended up being remarkably easy for us.
It was more just getting rid of stuff than actually cleaning up, which was so cool. So you go into the room and the walls were done and the skirting was done and all of that. It was just so cool.
Every time we had a visitor come and see us, it would be, right, see this room? If you don't take stuff from here, it's probably going to be thrown away. And so we had people taking our mosquito sprays. We had just literally everything gone. We really didn't have to. I think we did one trip to the dump, maybe two trips to the dump. And then of course we got the house completely perfect. We'd looked after this almost brand new carpet the whole way through.
Like, had a thing under our table so that it had a big rug so that if they dropped food, they had to eat at the breakfast bar, which was tiled. Like, we were pretty full on when it came to actually, you know,
looking after the place.
Yeah.
And then Riley got a vomiting bug.
And she was sleeping in a different room because her beds had been sold, so she couldn't make it to the tile.
So she got up, crouched down in the middle of the floor, the carpeted floor, and did the most enormous vomit. So,
and this was like a couple of days before we left. So fortunately we had a carpet cleaner coming through. But yeah, it was pretty full on, and full on that we were sending her away she was going away with my parents, her grandparents, for a week. So that was pretty sad. They had planned this awesome trip in Taupo, and day one she was just in bed, day two she was coming right, and yeah, by the end of day two she was fine. But yeah, but a bit sad for mum and dad because they had planned all these activities and little girl just slept.
And so once we'd finished the clean-up in Auckland, it was time for us to travel down to Wellington to visit our extended family before we left. I'm the youngest of 12 children, so my extended family is enormous, and Ruth's is a reasonably good size, so there were an awful lot of people we needed to catch up with. I had friends from 8 to 10 years ago that I hadn't seen for ages that were keen to catch up because they knew that we were going to be leaving the country, and so yeah, it was hectic to say the least.
Brian's daughter and two of his grandchildren came over, which was very sweet of her. A bit of a mission travelling with two babies, so she came over
from the Gold
Aussie,
Coast,
to spend some time, and so did our adopted daughter. Her best friend Lou came, which she's also my hairdresser, so that was perfect. I got my hair done in Wellington before I went, but it was really awesome to have them there. Serious effort, so that was cool.
So now we'll move on to how we earn income, what our finances look like, etc. We're not doing it as any kind of flex. As you'll see from our finances, there's nothing to flex about.
There's no flexing.
But we want to do this not only for your benefit, because it will give you an insight into whether this is something that perhaps could work for you, but it also will hold us accountable. I just think that we won't be spending the money on expensive excursions because we happen to have a pile of money in the bank account. If we have you guys to hold us to account, I have to make a video every week or so telling you about the state of our finances, and if we're not going anywhere, that's going to be a little bit embarrassing.
So basically, by taking a step back, this is how we earn income. So we work on commission, which is fun. If you work on commission, you understand the ups and downs of commission. And then we also have ongoing commission. So we have a client base and we get paid an ongoing commission from them. So that's how we earn our income. We have a level of passive income, and that's allowed us to be able to travel without having to have new clients, etc., and gives us a base level to live on. In New Zealand, what's our weekly expenses or monthly expenses?
Our monthly income is normally around $12,000 New Zealand a month, and on top of that, through students and other forms of income, we earn another couple of $1,000s a month. So generally, it's around $14,000 a month in New Zealand dollars comes in.
Guess what the expenses are?
Sadly, our expenses are around $12,000 a month, so it doesn't take a mathematician to work out that if you pay some tax along the way, that you aren't going to have a whole lot of income left over. Some of that $12,000 is some fairly aggressive loan repayments that we've been paying down. We've been trying to clear our debt particularly quickly, so we're spending around $3,300 a month in loan repayments. So that's making a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Our income can vary quite wildly. In fact, in recent months, because one of our major clients had a cyber attack recently, our income during a big part of the last year has only been around $8,000 a month. Fortunately, some of that income is most likely going to come back to us in the next few months once they get out of the situation that they're in. But we have an awful lot go wrong along the way that's completely outside our control, and so our income can be fantastic some months and then close to zero at other months.
And like us not being naive, our accountant is a very good friend of ours, and I'm pretty sure she may hold me to this, but it's just been at times like if you both just had 9-to-5 jobs, you'd be sorted. But Brian's been in this industry that he's been in we're in for a very long time, and we have decided that we would rather be there to pick up our kids from school in Auckland. If you're travelling into town, the traffic is horrific, and so we don't have any travel time. We work from home. We can finish and pick up the kids. We can drop them off in the mornings, and so we have made a lifestyle choice that means that we are not earning the big dollars, and also he's lost the passion for sales, so that's not ideal.
And we can travel the world.
Yeah.
With our children, which is not something that everybody can do. So
yeah, we've built an online business basically over the last few years, and with the idea that we just want freedom, and so that has meant, hey, we have not earned the big dollars. So one, we're not seriously driven to make sales in the way that other people are, and that's not a bad thing. It's just Brian's done, and so we have to accept that. I have to accept that that's where we're at. We're not going to be these ballers, but we still want to pay off debt, and we still have a dream to own our own home. And so this is what we're doing. We're figuring that, hey, the caravan's not a good idea. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we're looking before COVID at living in a caravan, and thank God that didn't happen, because mildly horrific, 5 of us in a caravan. Really great that didn't happen. So we've looked at a few different things that we could do to save money, and this has only been available to us now because our oldest son, my stepson, Brian's son, is 18, so we wanted to be in Auckland for him until he was old enough, and so we could have moved to a different place in New Zealand, but we decided, hey, let's go to places that 110% slash the cost of everything and see if we can save this way. So that is our main goal.
We had been thinking that our debt from student loans, business debt, credit cards, etc., had been around $40,000, but now that we've done the add up, it actually is $92,000 worth of accumulated debt, which
that is everything. We've got
that's every dollar we owe to anybody, which I guess for some people they think that's not so bad because they're sitting on mortgages of $500,000 or more.
Well, we've got nothing to show for
we've
those
got no
debts,
house
really.
to show for it. Our business's worth is reasonably valuable, but yeah, we don't have a lot to show for it. So our goal
initially was just to save for a house, but it's going to obviously
it's now going to be to get that debt cleared. So as we were saying before, we're paying around $3,300 per month towards getting that debt cleared quickly. and the move that we've made overseas now has freed up about another $2,000 that we have available towards debt repayment. And the nice thing is that some of that debt is made up of things that we'll be able to repay quite promptly, and so I think in about February or March, instead of having $2,000 left over, we'll have closer to $3,000 left over, hopefully, if things are going to plan.
So we've already taken some off. We sold our car, and so that took a little dent off.
That took the debt down to $82,000.
Yeah, so that's cool. And also we're going to be breaking this down. So we're going to show you in future videos like what we're spending on our monthly expenses. Not super detailed, but like rent, utilities, internet. We'll give you the general things.
And we'll compare those with what we're going to, what we would have spent if we were back in New Zealand.
Yeah, so we'll show you what we're spending now and what we're spending in New Zealand. Just to give you a real insight into what it looks like, and we will be very honest about how that goes. Too many lattes, maybe.
Yeah, and if any of you have any ideas about additional things that we could do to save, or things that we're missing, or places where you think we're spending more money than we should in certain countries, if you've perhaps been there before, let us know in the comments, because we're not experts at this.
And we're also not fixed in where we're going, so despite my control freak ways, we have got a very liberal idea of where we're going to go. Liberal, is that the right word?
Yeah, probably.
So we've got Asia pretty much sorted, so we know where we're going the next few places in Asia, and then from there it's pretty much an open book. Our requirements, I don't know if you heard in a previous video that we're doing carry-on only, we'll talk about that a bit later, but our requirements are we need to be warm because we just simply don't have the clothes to be able to deal with cold country. So we're leaving Asia. Our idea is kind of April. So we are open to places that have good internet and that are very affordable. So you can flick them to us. We are keen.
Yeah, I'd even looked at some of the cheap airlines in Eastern Europe, where you literally say, I'm here.
Take me.
Tell me all the places I can fly to for £13.
Yeah.
And if that place has good internet and the cost of living is low,
and food's delicious,
we're available. We're always available. We've got some one place that we have got planned, which I won't mention now.
I'll tell you, but I won't tell you.
Yeah, is in Eastern Europe, is going to be more Middle East actually. Is going to be quite different. If you can guess it,
unless you're our family members and you already know, because he's gone on and on about it.
On and on about it. Yeah, try and have a few guesses in the comments about whether you can guess where this Middle Eastern country is that we're planning to go to. It's going to be great.
So yeah, our plan before we aggressively start paying off debt is to actually put a bit of an emergency fund, because we're literally getting away. Travel insurance, all of those little last minute costs have meant that our bank balance is just struggling to breathe. And so when we get our next lot of commission in, our first thing is to just get a bit of money in.
Create a bit of buffer, which we can do in the credit card. We'll make sure that there's always money available on the credit card for us. And then once we've got that buffer, every dollar we get is just going to get slammed against that debt.
And so we'll show you when it doesn't work. Like I'm 100% sure there'll be times when it's not working, when we're spending more than we anticipated, all of those sort of things. So we will definitely let you know how those things are going, and we'll continue with the breakdown. My favorite thing when I was little was when you go past those like boards that had the meter, you know, when they're saving for a like a swimming pool or something at the school, and it has a little meter. So I might try and get Brian to put a little thing so you can see how our savings goals go.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's get the debt before we decide about our savings.
Yeah, maybe it goes the other way, so it shows our debt and then it chunks down.
And if Ruth decides to do something crazy like wash elephants or something for a lot of money,
which I will,
please harass us extensively in the comments, because every bit of feedback we get
everything
will help.
needs a bath. They need a bath.
Yeah, but we don't have to pay $1,000 to bath them, do we? Yeah.
So if you think this is something that you'd be interested in, watching us try and save or pay off debt and then save money, and doing it all while we have semi-small children, a 7 or 9 year old who we have to entertain and keep out of heat and all of that, and keep their little tummies not getting too sore from our trying all the authentic food, because so far they are loving pizza. If this is something you want to do watching with us, just join along and we will be happy to answer any questions you have throughout our wee journey. Bye. Face tracking test for everybody. Why can I hear that? You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love I've run. I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Ba-da, 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 da-da.